This silence around you was never emptiness. It was recognition. You were felt before you were ever heard, and that unnerved them. They don't look at you the same anymore, not because you changed, but because you awakened. You became the mirror they tried to avoid, and the reminder they didn't ask for. Was it distance, or was it spiritual defense? Was it kindness, or fear disguised as favor? Were they drawn to you, or disturbed by what you carry? The paradox is real, because when God places His hand upon you, people feel it, even when they don't understand it. Stay until the end, because today, the patterns will make sense. The ghosting, the stares, the strange generosity, the silent envy. All of it is spiritual evidence, and by the time this scroll is unsealed, you'll understand why your presence has always disrupted the room. Welcome to Chosen One's Prophecy, where the hidden are remembered and the marked are gathered. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because He has anointed me. Luke 4:18. Yes, they feel that oil, even if they act like they don't see it. So stay, because the signs that are about to unfold may explain your entire life. The pullback. When spirits sense what eyes cannot see, they won't always say it, but they feel it. The moment you walk in, something shifts. Conversations dull, energy tightens, eyes drop. It's not what you did, it's who you are. Your spirit reveals what theirs has avoided. Your light agitates the shadows they've learned to live with. Jesus never had to speak for demons to scream. His presence exposed what was hidden, and now you carry that same authority, and with it, the same backlash. They pull away, not because you wounded them, but because your purity exposes their wounds. Your peace makes their chaos louder. Your clarity unsettles their confusion. This distancing is not rejection. It's reverence in disguise. They don't know how to handle the fire you didn't ask for, but now carry. The silence around you is spiritual. The coldness is confirmation. The fading friendships are prophecy. You weren't abandoned. You were set apart, and heaven is still watching who stays and who steps back when glory walks in. What if their absence is the proof that something holy is standing in you? The offer. When favor feels foreign. Why do they give you things and then look at you with uncertainty? Why the free coffee, the sudden discounts, the open doors you never knocked on? It's not flattery, it's not luck, it's recognition, spiritual recognition. Your presence awakens a generosity they can't explain. Just like the woman with the alabaster jar, they pour what they can. Because somewhere deep, their soul knows your steps are not ordinary. But here's the hidden danger. Gifts sometimes carry invisible strings. Kindness can carry hidden expectations. Remember me when you rise, they say, and suddenly, a blessing becomes a burden. You are not here to be bought. You are not here to owe. God's favor on your life is not a bargaining chip. It's a signpost. Accept what aligns. Decline what entangles. Because what they give you should never cost you your freedom. Some gifts are just veiled attempts to sit at the table you were called to build. The jealous praise, when celebration sounds like sabotage. They clap, but with questions. Smile, but with concern. Cheer you on, but lace it with fear. That's amazing, but are you sure you're ready? God is using you, but maybe you should slow down. This is not wisdom. It's warfare wrapped in well-meaning words. Like Joseph's brothers who bowed one day and beat him the next, the ones who recognize your calling first are often the ones who fight it most. They don't hate you. They fear what you reveal about them. Your success shines a spotlight on their stagnation. Be wise. Not every "I'm proud of you" is rooted in purity. You were not called to shrink to soothe their insecurities. You were called to rise and expose what's been sleeping. There will be voices that sound like counsel, but carry the weight of quiet sabotage. The clinging. when your light becomes their lifeline. You notice it, the way they gravitate toward you, the way rooms shift and hearts open, even strangers revealing secrets they've never shared. This is not charm. This is the magnetism of the anointing. Just like people flocked to Jesus in the streets, they're drawn to you, not because of your personality, but because your presence carries something sacred. But what attracts also drains, and what seeks your light may not honor your boundaries. People will cling. They will want your oil without your altar, your insight without your intercession. Discern the difference between those sent by God and those sent by need. Even Jesus withdrew to pray. Even he protected his sacred space. If this resonates, comment 4E44 as a prophetic sign that you are still listening and receiving. The rejection. When insecurity dresses as superiority. They act like they're better, sharper, ahead, but you can feel the subtle shift, the glances, the tone, the cold detachment. This isn't arrogance, it's defense. They see your rise, and it frightens them. Like Saul throwing spears at David for simply being anointed, they use rejection as a shield, because it's easier to push you down than admit God is lifting you. But let this be your anchor. You don't need their validation to confirm your elevation. Their rejection doesn't lower your value. It proves your trajectory. And what they dismiss today will one day become their blueprint. Don't fight to stay where God is calling you to rise above. The ignoring, when silence becomes a strategy. They saw your post, they read the message, they watched the milestone, and they said nothing. This isn't forgetfulness, this is calculated absence. They withhold honor, hoping it will dim your confidence. They pretend not to notice, hoping it will delay your next step. But like the Pharisees who ignored Jesus' miracles while plotting in secret, some people know exactly who you are, and that's what scares them most. When your light becomes too bright, the insecure shield their eyes. Don't chase after acknowledgement. Heaven already approved you. You weren't made for silent rooms. You were made to break silence. The boasting. When competition hides behind conversation. Notice how every moment becomes their stage. You share something simple. They counter with a trophy. You speak with humility. They speak with pride. And this isn't conversation. It's camouflage. A quiet war of comparison masked as friendly banter. Like Cain offering his sacrifice beside Abel. Some can't worship without watching your altar, and when yours burns brighter, they boast louder. Let them speak. You don't need to compete. You are never in the same race. Some run for validation. You walk with revelation. The minimizing. When glory is diminished on purpose. You open your heart. You share what God did, and they brush it off. Oh, that's nice. Anyone could have done that. Probably just luck. This is spiritual gaslighting. They can't deny the oil, so they attempt to water it down. But what God births in you is not up for their approval. You don't need applause for obedience. You don't need agreement for anointing. Just like David stood before Goliath with nothing but faith, you may look unqualified to them. But what they mock now, heaven is about to magnify. Never let small minds define a scroll written by a mighty hand. The darkness fights back. Why hell targeted you first ever? Wonder why the warfare started early. Why the attacks came before the anointing even had language. It's because hell saw your destiny before you did. Demons don't waste energy. They attack what they fear. And your name, even unspoken, echoed in the spirit realm. Like Moses hunted as a baby. Like Jesus pursued as a child. You were marked early because the enemy saw the blueprint of your authority. The anxiety, the betrayal, the sabotage, they weren't random. They were resistance. You weren't cursed. You were called. You weren't broken. You were being built for battle. So don't question the fire. You were forged for this. The turning. when heaven starts pulling you higher. Everything starts to shift. You lose people. You gain vision. You walk differently. You hear differently. This isn't isolation, it's initiation. You've moved from survival to stewardship, from hiding to heralding, from questioning to commissioning. The whispers that once filled your head now feel like marching orders. You don't just carry oil, you carry a divine assignment, and heaven has started rearranging everything to make room for your release. You are no longer who you were, but what you are becoming is still unfolding. You weren't rejected, you were revealed. Every cold stare, every quiet betrayal, every strange blessing was heaven's way of marking you in plain sight, while still keeping your deeper assignment sealed for its appointed hour. You weren't delayed, you were disguised, hidden not for punishment, but for preservation. And now the veil is lifting. You have walked through the silence. You have stood in the fire. You have seen who leaves when your light grows. You have felt the tension of being misunderstood for simply being chosen. But listen now, that season of hiding was not to break you. It was to build you into a vessel that cannot be shaken. You are not behind. You are not mistaken. You are not forgotten. You have been marked. You have been forged. And now, you are being sent. If this word pierced something in your spirit, comment 777 below as a prophetic sign that you have received the scroll. Speak life into this space. Share what awakened in you. What part mirrored your pain? Or what truth set something inside you on fire? And if your soul knows this is not the end, but the beginning, subscribe to Chosen One's prophecy and take your place in the global remnant rising. You are not alone. You are the next echo.